now 2014, and here's the thing. It's not alright for you to keep your head in the sand anymore. It's time for everyone to wake up now. We've reached the point where it's time to call it like it is and not run away from the truth. There are some things that you need to know, and starting now, it is not alright not to know them. You might think that you don't want to know, but really, that's just because this is going to cause some major cognitive dissonance. Deep down, when you set aside the unpleasantness that comes from realizing that everything you've ever known is a lie, you really do want to know the truth. Sadly, people will generally tend to believe what they want to believe. That's human nature, and that's how they've controlled humanity for thousands of years. But now, you and everyone needs to very quickly come to realize the quite disturbing but absolutely true fact that virtually everything you've ever been taught is a lie. Everything taught in our schools and universities, from how atoms work to world history, archaeology, astronomy, and the nature of consciousness. We've all been deceived, but now is the time for humanity's great awakening. We have been kept ignorant of these truths purposefully by those who profited by keeping humanity enslaved in the matrix and unaware of their true potential. First, we are not alone in the universe. There are many other races of beings, both extraterrestrial and extra-dimensional. Among them are the Zetas, which many people refer to as Greys. There are also several types of reptilians which live inside the Earth. Zetas and reptilians have a very ancient treaty and understanding, and they've been working together all along. They would very much like their existence to remain a secret. Back in the 1950s, the United States government came to an agreement with them. In this very secret agreement, Eisenhower agreed to cooperate with their desire to harvest humans and animals for food and genetic testing in exchange for some of their high technology. But now the secret is out. There also exist many other races like the Arcturians and the Pleiadians, and all of these races have been visiting Earth for millennia. There also exist non-physical beings called Archons, which feed on human energy, especially rage and fear. There are also many other races. Some are positive, some are negative. The truth is that it's impossible to know with any certainty what any of these groups' motivations might be. But suffice it to say that the universe is much, much more complex than just what's been happening here on Earth in our endless battle of East versus West and Red versus Blue. Secondly, there's a field that permeates the universe. David Wilcock refers to it as the source field, and I know of no better term for it. This field is not visible, but everything interacts with it constantly. The source field is what powers the zero-point energy Mehran Keshe and the Keshe Foundation is pioneering and promoting. It is what gives matter its form, and the source field is where consciousness comes from. Through it, all aspects of reality are fundamentally interconnected. You've been taught that your thoughts come from various synaptic transfers of the billions of cells in your brain, and that you as an individual seed of consciousness exist independent of everything and everyone else. But that's not true. Your brain works by interacting with the source field, and the most vital part of that interaction is the pineal gland. This pine cone-shaped marvel is where your thoughts and consciousness, which exist independently in the source field, get downloaded and perceived by the individual. That's why there's giant pine cone-shaped statues at the Vatican. The source field is infinite, and it is consciousness, and it is vibration, and it is love. It is very real, and it explains everything from the problems with modern theoretical particle physics to ghosts and ESP. Some people call it God or the Creator, but it is not a white bearded old man sitting on a cloud somewhere answering the occasional prayer. It is simply the foundation of the universe. There has been a directed effort to prevent the people from realizing their connection to the source field. All of the artificial constructs which separate humanity from each other, family, clan, city, region, nation, race, religion, party, they have all been used to keep people focused on those things which divide us and have prevented us from seeing what unites us. And since the beginning of the nuclear age, they've systematically been poisoning us. One example of many is the fluoride added to the water supply all across the country, expressly because it is harmful to the functionality of the pineal gland. Also, the introduction of GMOs to our food and the spraying of chemtrails are surreptitiously working toward their goal of exterminating humanity. These forces cannot continue to exploit humanity if we become conscious of them in sufficient numbers. And so awaken we must. There are a few other things that you need to know. There exists a secret black shadow government in the U.S., which is controlled by these same malevolent forces keeping us enslaved. Most of our federal budget goes to building their underground bases and to their secret space program. And they've got unbelievable technological capabilities, quite consistent with what most people would consider science fiction or magic. There isn't anyone in mainstream media who isn't compromised. Anyone paid an enormous salary by a corporation to read the news isn't telling the truth. Nearly everyone you see or hear on television is bought and paid for. Everything from our educational systems to our medical and pharmacological systems are compromised. Speaking too much actual truth goes against corporate policy, and the world's corporations are also controlled by these same evil forces. It's not just the bankers and financiers that we need to worry about. The depth of the rabbit hole is staggering. Roughly every 6 weeks they've staged terror events to keep Americans in fear. Incidents like Sandy Hook, the Boston Marathon, the LAX shooting, the Colorado school shooting, and a great many other examples all fall on the same 6-week cycle. To be clear, these are staged events. Everything about them is faked. But with the media under their control, these kleptocrats don't need to worry about glaring inconsistencies. The corporate media always parrots the government official story, and most people believe it unquestioningly. While very few have been aware of the big picture, a great many people have been complicit in and have contributed to the Great Deception. We humans have it within our power to rise up and shake off these invisible chains of slavery that thus far we've allowed because of our ignorance. Free will is something respected throughout the universe. So long as we consent to our bondage, there's little anyone can do about it. But in the context of the Great Awakening, which is now happening, we can, as a species, declare unambiguously that we will no longer give our tacit consent to these forces which are clearly ultimately working towards our destruction. These are chains of the mind which we can break if we can defeat their mind control. We can defeat these forces poisoning and enslaving us, and we can adopt the already existent suppressed technologies to bring limitless power, healthy food, and clean water, and ultimate prosperity to all of humanity. But before we can defeat them, we must become aware of them. We must inform everyone we can about these deceptions and about how we have a place in the greater universe. We must not accept letting people dismiss these things as fantasy or conspiracy theory or mental illness. Those who would dismiss these things are either under their mind control or are working for the controllers. Once our awareness of them reaches critical mass, we'll have the strength to defeat them, and with a little luck, hopefully the wisdom to usher humanity into a new golden age of prosperity and happiness free from the yoke of slavery and ignorance. They refer to us as containers. You must realize that we are not at the top of the food chain. Our bodies, blood, energy, and DNA are resources for them. But we humans do have the potential for godlike creative powers. We can break through to a new universal consciousness paradigm. But we won't achieve anything but our own destruction if we continue to allow them to enslave us and fail to control our own destiny. We all know there is something very wrong with our world. We all know that there are controllers unseen behind the screen. You must have the courage to open your mind and accept the possibility that the nature of these controllers isn't human. Please spread this very important message to everyone you know. Together we will save ourselves and our mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, sons, and daughters from the psychopaths that want to extinguish humanity, and we will achieve victory for the light. Namaste.